Welcome everybody to another edition of Redemption Capture the Flag, a competitive capture the flag league for Doom 2 Hell on Earth. I am Xenaero, bringing you the matchup between the Week 1 winners Frag, Urself, and Very Bad Mothers. These two teams walked away with pretty handy wins in the first week. And as we know, we can't have winners forever. Only one of these two teams will walk away halfway through the regular season with another several points to their name. When I'm talking about points, I'm talking about what we got here in the rules. Now, the structure, in case you haven't seen this league before, is teams red and blue in a 3 versus 3 capture flag. Each team has a roster of 4 players from which they can field any 3. Rounds are to 10 minutes or 5 flag captures, whichever happens first. Now, this does differ a little bit from previous capture flag leagues we've had in the past. There will be no ties during the regular season. So after the 3rd round, if we still don't have a victor in the best of 3, we'll be going into overtime rounds. Winners who teams who win, they'll walk away with the following. They'll either get 5 points for winning in 2 rounds, or they'll get 4 points for winning in 3+ rounds. On the lower end of the spectrum, if you walk away with a loss, you're going to want to take at least a round away from your opponent, because that will guarantee you 1 point. Format-wise, the score counter you see in your upper right, that will count towards the round in the game this week. The HUD will show the flag counter for the current round on the lower left. Now, let's talk a little bit about these two teams. Frag, Urself, and Very Bad Mothers did come away winners, and of the two teams, it's speculated that Very Bad Mothers is going to be the winner of this matchup here, judging from community reactions in the Rampage Discord. But it's not to say that there won't be an upset. This map is very open. The middle has a lot of hard cover, and there is armor to get. That will help carriers reduce their damage by an incoming 33%. But that's not all we have to talk about. We're about halfway through week 2. This is the second game of 3. So, let's change gears here a little bit. We did miss one game so far, and that's the Walking Toilets versus No Lux Given. The tape you're watching is from a demo submitted by one of the players earlier this week, Thursday to be specific. They walked away with a 2-0 victory, and you see some gameplay on the map, courtesy of Ross King. No Lux Given now walks into week 3 with 10 points to their name, while the Walking Toilets, unfortunately, does not have any points to their name going into week 3, so they'll need to rally if they want a shot at the playoffs. They only have 2 weeks left in order to make something happen if they want to reach that playoff berth. No Lux Given proved to have a strong suit, with the frag count being pretty equal. 207 frags to 194 in round 1, 218 to 216 in round 2, both favoring No Lux Given. Ross King himself walked away with 4 flags total. Round 1 had a score count of 1-0. Pretty tight match. Round 2, however, NLG blew the doors wide open, walking away with 5 flag captures and ending the round and the match. NLG fielded the players Ross King, Amar, and Legion, while the Walking Toilets fielded Wario, Daston, and Tigerians. No roster change-ups happened between rounds 1 and 2. Now, we are normally joined by HateDaddy, but he is currently running a little bit late, so I'm going to talk about the map a little bit. Now, Map 9, Compulsive Simplicity, has a storied history, being a league mainstay, and a map many veterans are familiar with. There is a teleporter up at the top of the arena, which the camera is currently walking away from. That teleporter leads to this upper platform, and in fact, you know what? It may be better to show you in the server itself. Hopefully everybody's doing good on this Sunday. Enjoying a little slice of Doom 2 Capture the Flag. Let's see. Let's get the game loaded up here and I'll show you around the map. Okay, there we go. We got some capture happening now. The flag room is pretty spacious. While it looks like there's only 1 or 2 entries, if we consider this teleporter here in the upper walkway, there is a spot back here. There's a little hallway in the back of the base with a med kit, so 25 health on the way in or out, which can lead to a lift that will lower for the player. So there's a few different avenues for attack into and in order to leave the base as well. But cover at this portion of the map will be critical. While you can get in and out of the base pretty easily, so can the enemy players as they respawn and look out towards mid. They'll have a pretty wide line of sight in order to see any enemy players or the enemy carrier. Normally armor spawns here. What if it's taken on the other side too? Well, green armor is up and available to be taken here. That will reduce incoming damage by 33%.
Blue flag taken.
But that's pretty much it. And we're just waiting the last couple minutes while teams are practicing. And currently VBM is fielding a couple players in this server, but they may not be able to get a full practice session in before match time. The way players route throughout this map is kind of interesting. On top of this, yeah, there we go. Ninja Dog did exactly what I wanted you guys to see. Is a common entry point and exit point is that window. You are able to jump up there,
Blue
and
flag taken.
you can wall run a bit up there too. That is the proper direction for the wall. A little trick in the classic Doom engine. Overall, not a whole lot of distance between the red and the blue base. It is a little bit more spacious than most of the Slugfest maps in terms of middle size. Rocket launcher not used too often, most players opting to use the super shotgun.
Flag dropped. Blue flag taken.
Currently checking on the status of my co-caster, seeing if he is available.
Red team
Bring into
scores.
the broadcast. See a slight interruption in the screen as I have to alt tab. And let's bring HateDaddy into the broadcast here.
Blue flag taken.
Where is this man?
Blue flag taken. Flag dropped.
And joining me right now, I believe, is HateDaddy, who you may have heard in the Week 1 broadcast. How you doing, Hate?
Blue flag returned.
Not too bad. How about
Flag
yourself?
taken.
Doing all right. We went over the map. We went over a little bit about the teams. Do you have any predictions for either Frag yourself or Very Bad Mothers?
So looking at it, I think initially we had radio on Tuesday. I had picked Frag Yourself, just kind of that was my heart, pick. But Very Bad Mothers was me choosing with my head. I definitely think you're going to see a lot of caps in this map because I think both teams are really frag heavy, and whenever one team yields control, it tends to kind of snowball into quick caps, and I think both of these teams have the fragging power to really take control quickly. So I anticipate kind of a shootout, and that's what I'm expecting to see. I'm not going to give an official prediction because I already gave that, but that's kind of where I'm standing at with what I expect out of the game.
Gotcha. All right. Well, it's hard for me to predict. I believe VBM may have the edge, considering the power of their lineup. I mean, Ninja Dog alone is going for what I would like to call the triple crown of Doom competitive CTF action, having walked away from the MDF's Vengeance League, a winner, and also with the World Doom League Championship. He also came away a winner. So we're looking at a potential 3 championships to his name in a week's time.
Yeah, I mean, have we seen success like this before across all ports? I mean, I think back to different teams and different players in different eras that have been successful like this, but it's usually just been in one port, right? Like this, to do it pretty much on every port is it's definitely something new. I think Genova's had similar success, but not at a clip like this. So I mean, yeah, I think Ninja Dog's team, any team that he's on, is going to be a favorite. But then, you know, somehow he unfairly gets Langrenus on his team, and how is anybody supposed to compete with that?
It's a pretty pretty strong team. I mean, you know, who do we think they're going to field here? I see Lang and Ninja Dog in here, but I don't see their third.
I'm not sure.
We do see Denzoa, Stahl, and Desperal for Frag.
Yeah,
that's a pretty strong team on their own. I mean, while Desperal and Poto as well, I didn't realize that Poto had joined a team. So they may be doing Stahl, Poto, Desperal. Poto and Desperal are playing overseas. Stahl is based here in North America, where the servers are located, so he has a low ping. But I mean, that matters a lot for a player like Stahl, who is a pretty sharp shot. So it's going to really come down to the kind of synergy that we want to see, we need to see for Frag Urself when we're looking at it doesn't even matter who their third is. Langrenus and Ninja Dog are incredibly good players.
Yeah. So I'm not sure what's going on. Let me check the chat to see if there's some sort of delay in their third coming.
This chat is console was incredibly hard to read.
Yeah. So I mean,
flag dropped.
They have both Dranzer and Skull Rush on their team, but I see neither of them. Let's see.
I don't recall seeing them play earlier, but we may be looking at a. Oh, now we're getting an ETA call for Dranzer, who should be en route somewhere. And that's something we just saw. If for the sharp-eyed viewers at home, you can rocket jump across these little mountaintops here. They are not impassable. Are we going to see something tricksy happen? We love to see it, but sacrificing health for a shot out there where you are vulnerable from any part of mid, that's a tough call.
So, looking at VBM, I don't know too much about Langrenus as it pertains to doing some of like the RJ tricks. I know Ninja Dog is capable of it. So I guess it depends if Ninja Dog runs. Maybe you'll see it. Dranzer can kind of do it. Now, Desperal and Poto can obviously both do it for FU. So you might kind of see it from them, but I don't know. Like, is it something that you can pull off against another really good team? I think so, but it's going to be pretty tough. And I just anticipate both teams are going to be much more inclined to just muscle flags out as opposed to trying to do trickery. But yeah, I mean, looking at, like I said, FU, I think Poto, if anybody's going to pull it off, it'd be Poto.
When we went over the recap and No Lux Given was the winner on Thursday, when I looked back that demo and kind of reviewed the tapes, if you will, they preferred a ground fight. They did not do any sort of tricks. I kind of expect the same to happen with VBM and FU.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's so much easier too, right? And like, pressure is such a big thing in this map that I don't know that you want a lot of idle time standing around. I would firmly believe you do not want any idle time at all with teams of this caliber. For people who are not familiar with Doom 2 CTF, all of these players are extremely good and they have been playing for a very long time. We'll be getting into round 1 here shortly. They did call for a reset. I believe that all teams are ready to go. And we are turning messages off just to keep the audio clutter down for you guys at home. We'll be starting off watching Stall
powering across mid with his teammate and being forced to reset right there.
Yeah, so it looks like Poto is running. That's kind of what I suspected. So Despero mid, Poto running.
Poto taking that back corridor, that's going to be a very common point, exit point for a lot of carriers. I mean, compared to them running past all the spawn points that litter the other side of the map. But at the same time, you never know. You can do a drive-by shot of a spawn and one shot a Doom guy. So you never, I mean, install out with the flag, but head off and return by lane.
So, looking at VMB, it looks like they're playing kind of like a 2D setup where like both Ninja Dog and Langrenus are playing their own sides and they're moving up respectively.
Poto's out across mid. He has cover behind him. Stall with another spawn in front of him to cover him even further. And a clean capture by Poto. And they are preventing a recap.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
FU up 1-0 in the first round.
It's only one cap, but I'm not sure I like VBM's strategy here. Because I see FU applying pressure with both of their, both their guys, whereas like now they are getting a little bit more offensive, but I think you gotta run two guys at times here. I don't think you could just sit in like a traditional 2D set.
I agree. I think 2D is a waning mindset from ye olde days of when players were not as offensive capable. I think that it's very tough on a map this open without a huge choke point, like comparison to say, I don't know, map 8. You're almost putting yourself at a disadvantage with no firepower going forward.
And they've definitely gotten out of that set now. I do see Ninja Dog and Langrenus playing a little bit more aggressive. I'm wondering if maybe it was just kind of like that initial let's feel out what they're trying to do before we commit to something. Because, a lot of teams will say, like, we're going to approach this game with, a couple of strategies in mind, but this is our main one. And we'll feel them out, see what they're doing, and if we need to switch, we will. So, kind of seeing what's going on. That's happening now, and mid is definitely a stalemate.
Yeah, there's a lot more mid firepower happening now. Even the defenseman is pushing up and kind of guarding at that first rock near the main entrance. So it's making, even doing chip damage can be very valuable. It'll force the runner to spend time to get armor or health. And then, that every second cost is almost a victory for the other team. It delays the momentum.
Yeah, and then looking at it, it looks like Langrenus is kind of the main D, and Ninja Dog is the one that rotates. And initially, at first, like I said, I wasn't sure if it was maybe Ninja Dog doing it. Now Langrenus is taking a stab at the flag here, so I don't know if he was low and just figured, hey, let me just take this shot.
Even a flag touch can make people at mid kind of turn around, because then they have to deal with a carrier, no matter their health status. And that's where communication is very valuable in a map like this too, with an incoming carrier that's hit, and you call it for the rest of your team.
Yeah, and VBM is throwing guys at the flag now. So like earlier where I said it looked like they were almost in an old school 2D set, now it's just guys are running at the flag constantly.
Poto supporting Stahl, who is almost got out to mid, but Poto picked it up. I believe he's low, but he grabs that med kit. And it is not a cap. In fact, it gets dropped. And Stahl actually picked it back up. He cleared the flagger and then picked it up 2-0.
That's when somebody shot him, I was like, I didn't even see him. Nuts, man. 2-0, I wasn't expecting that.
Well, apparently neither was VBM. They're now down 2 flags as we approach the halfway point in the round, as far as time limit is concerned.
Yeah, I'm wondering if VBM is almost being too aggressive now. Like, that last cap that they gave up, that was a free touch. Nobody defended that until mid. That's why Poto was able to pick up after Stahl, even though Stahl died in mid.
And Poto's out to mid with the flag, but he's intercepted by 2 players behind him, and it gets returned before Ninja Dog is shot down.
Red flag taken.
Yeah, I mean, even though initially there was kind of congested in mid, it looks like FU is actually starting to kind of take control of mid. I mean, and I don't know what VM's solution is at this point. I mean, you're down 2-0. You aren't really applying, even though you're getting.
Stahl double backing through that teleporter. because there are players at mid who will react to that teleporter sound and look around and see that fog. So it does kind of throw them off to a degree. We'll take a moment to kind of review the frag count. It's pretty even. All players at VBM in the mid-30s, while actually Frag himself is like, we're looking at 40s and one player in the 50s. Xenaero, despite his ping disadvantage, is pulling, I mean, pulling pretty heavy weight in terms of frag count. 53, 54 now.
Yeah, Xenaero's having himself a game. Style's playing really, really well too. And I mean, Poto's even playing well. Poto's their main runner, and he's picking up more frags than anybody on their team.
Blue flag drops. Blue flag returns.
A viewer who says, what is the optimal ping for Doom? The answer is, with a game this fast, you want as low as possible.
Yeah. The nice thing about Doom, though, especially the different ports now, is that it's not impossible to play with a higher ping, but it's all about stability of your connection. Like, I've seen players, myself included, that can have a really low ping, but an unstable connection.
With a carrier standoff lane dropped up top. Stall waiting for that return, and there you go. Another capture for FU.
Yeah, complete control of this game, man. Like, complete control. I was not expecting this. Well, I was rooting for FU and picked them, but I wasn't expecting them to route like this. And, you know, there's still 3 minutes left, and there's still another round, so a lot can change, but gotta be impressed with what you're seeing from FU so far.
Yeah, especially Xenaero, who is putting up some pretty high frag counts. I mean, let's check out what he's doing for a second. Let's ignore the carriers for just a second and see how Xenaero is setting up. He's mostly playing defense and just keeping it on lockdown to a very efficient degree. And despite him playing overseas from the North American server, there's
what a return!
That was an incredible return. I mean, VBM stopping the bleeding on there, but they don't have a response. They're still down 3-0. 2 minutes and 35 seconds left.
Lang's got a touch here, but they've gotten pinned. Oh, nope.
Lang is across.
Yep. They had him pinned.
They drew a little bit of blood from FU, but they need at least 2 more flags.
But that's big, though, Zen, because even if they don't win this round, they showed that they can establish pressure and get caps, because there was a drought there where VBM wasn't even getting touches, and Xenaero was playing out of his mind, and Style and Poto were aggressive. That does force Style and Poto to play back a little bit. So let's see if VBM can they can slip another flag in here in the next 30 seconds or so. They got a chance, but even if they don't, and they just focus on maintaining pressure, that'll be a lot of momentum and building momentum for the next round.
I want to see them get another capture so they can put a dent in the mentality. Oh, if Poto just did what I thought they weren't going to do. He rocket jumped across. We caught the tail end of that. And he got away free and clear. 4-1 in the first round.
I said if anyone was going to do it, it'd be Poto.
Well, Poto's a tricky boy.
Yeah, I mean, Poto can do it all. I mean, literally, there's nothing that he can't do as a player. He can do all the jumps, all the tricks. He's an incredible fragger, good runner, good defender, good mid. It's important to point out as well that while Poto is able to do those things, he doesn't have to worry about defense. Xenaero and Stall are just keeping it locked down. Stall is, of course, pushing up and making flag attempts on his own, but he is also clearing it up as he goes. So Poto does not have to concern himself with a potential carrier behind him. And he also is pulling off that jump when VBM is basically all low at this point, right? So it's like...
You have to be. You're less than a minute away from the intermission screen. You're down 3 flags. You have to... I mean, and you never know. We've seen teams collapse against overwhelming pressure. Ninja Dog gets out to the front, gets gunned down, flag return. Lang may not even make it out the front door. Poto tries to rocket jump, but goes down pretty fast there.
Yeah. And you wonder, too, for VBM, like, if I'm a captain of VBM, I'm saying, let's get a score. I mean, we're not going to win this round. But if we could just get a cap and go in, you know, I believe morale flags are like a real thing. I think it does matter. See,
and there's a morale flag right there. So they'll be going into the intermission screen. Like, you know, yeah, they got 2 caps on the board. What kind of change in strategy do you think we may or may not see?
Well, look at Ninja Dog's frags, right? Remember when Desparrow was running through everybody? Ninja Dog ended up finishing with the most frags.
Yeah, Ninja Dog went ham. He ended the round. That blue text may be hard for people at home to see. 83 frags for Ninja Dog.
Yeah. So I think if you're VBM, you just say, okay, we kind of had a rough start. Let's just approach this game. Let's calm down. Let's, you know, get our wits about ourselves and just play the game that we know we're capable of playing, and they should be okay. If I'm their captain, that's what I'd say. But they can't get off to a bad start here, obviously, right? Like, they have to be able to get real pressure and get flags. Because obviously it's like win or lose, right? So there's no ties.
Yeah, there's no ties in regulation in this particular league. They can push it off as much as they like, but they have to walk away from this round of victory with a victory.
Now, curious if they tied this round, would they lose? I mean, Red got another cap.
No, it would go to a third round.
They'd still go to a third when all the best they could do is tie it?
Yeah, because then you can push it to a round 4 with a victory in round 3.
Okay, so they play. Okay, so gotcha. So they'd play 3 no matter what if it came to that.
Absolutely.
Okay. I just wasn't sure how, because it's like no ties, right? So it's
blue flag got returned. Now Drainzer tries to inch up and win that duel, but Poto steps to him and returns the flag, which is a great move from Poto. Stall has the flag now, but can't get out of the base. Can't make it to that teleporter. FU did draw first blood. They are up 1 flag at the beginning of the second round. So that, you want to talk about morale flags. No matter what morale they accumulated at the end of that last round, Frag Urself opened up and they said, well, we're just going to take command of the momentum now.
Yeah. And again, look at this. FU is controlling the map. When have you seen a Ninja Dog team just get pushed through like this?
It's been a while. Ninja Dog's teams have been relatively unstoppable, and does it happen to be maybe a map difference type deal? Like, do you think VBM is not set up in a way that they can exploit overwhelming firepower with how many different spawns there are?
It's hard to say. It is still week 2, so I don't know the practicing situations. I know FU practices their butts off. But for all we know, VBM just hasn't had a lot of time together in practice. So maybe VBM gets stomped in a matchup like this, but 3 or 4 weeks from now, once they've got their cohesiveness, maybe we're talking about a different result. Not predicting anything one way or another, just illustrating a point that you do see this sometimes where teams will kind of get beat down once or twice early in the season, but then by the end of the season, they're the best team in the league.
Yep, and Poto took a little bit too much damage in that hallway. We, unfortunately, at this time cannot see the status of Carrier's health, but Stall got out. It can be picked up, and it is picked up by Desparrow and will be walked over to the podium for yet another score for Frag Urself 2-0 in the second round. Looking pretty tough for VBM.
Good at those touches, dude. He gets touches so often where he slips behind after somebody has run with their flag and gets in and just waltzes into his own base.
Yeah, Stall does clear as he goes, and he has he pretty much cuts a beeline and takes out anybody in his way. That flag was returned before he got across the window, so that's always a really key part. That's kind of like your threshold. You want to return that before it gets in that windowsill.
Yeah, because then it's a game chance. Yeah, and looking at it too, I said, hey, I thought it'd be high scoring, but I thought both teams would be scoring a lot.
Oh, like trading flags back and forth? Well.
Yeah. There's flags just going one way so far.
Yeah, VBM seems to have kind of stopped the bleeding a little bit. We're looking at 6 minutes left until VBM walks away with a 2-round loss. At least it's the way things go.
Yeah, there's still plenty of time, right? But we haven't seen anything yet to make us think that VBM is going to have a comeback here.
No. And Lang has picked up the dropped flag and gets it too. And no, it's the last second return from Desparrow, like inches before the podium.
What a heartbreaker. That's a morale breaker right there. Like, you think you've got okay, we're back in this, we get this cap.
Yeah, they are only down by 1 flag, but it is not to be. Lang facing too many opponents there to even get off the podium.
You might actually end up seeing FU get like a cap here in the next 30 seconds just off of that, because like teams can kind of have that happen and quit, and it's not like they're quitting because they're mentally weak or anything. There's just so much that happens. Like, there's so much frustration after, you know, a cap that could have changed the game or the course of the game like that doesn't happen. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that from FU. But I mean, give VBM credit. They're staying strong. They're not giving up.
Stall playing mid here, grabbing armor. And it's worth noting, too, that teams will often grab power-ups not because they need them, but to deny it to the enemy runner.
Yeah.
Armor for an enemy runner is can be quite powerful.
Yeah, I mean, Ninja Dog is still having that great game, but, like, you know, where is the rest of the production going to come from? You know, Langrenus and Dranzer are both great players, but neither of them are producing at the clip that Ninja Dog is. One of them, if not both, are going to need to step up if they want to get back into this game, and time is bleeding away.
So let's do a little speculation here. We were waiting on Dranzer to show up, and early on, like, you hadn't joined the broadcast as of yet, but when I was showing the map, I only saw Lang and Ninja Dog in a server. I don't think they got a warm-up game in.
Yeah, and I mean, that can have some pretty disastrous effects too if this is practically Dranzer warming up right now.
And we'll do our regular kind of mid-round frag check. The teams are looking a lot more even on terms of frags this round. FU a little bit higher in the total count by not very much, maybe 10. But as terms of firepower, that's not the difference maker here. It's coordination, it's cohesion.
Yeah, FU's getting a little defensive here. You might see their frags to take a charge of frags just because, you know, at this point now VBM's going to send more guys at the flag, and FU might just say, hey, we're just going to peel back a little bit. So you could see kind of separation there with that. That's also kind of dangerous too, because you can leak back-to-back flags.
Great
like
shot
that.
from Poto. Few stim packs, that's 40 health worth right there. Does a fadeaway shot, doesn't drop the enemy defender, and runs into another. Laying out to mid. Guy's got cover behind him. I don't know how much health he has. I think he missed that mid kit, but it didn't matter. His team was able to cover him, and they're now only down by 1 flag. 3 minutes left, time's ticking.
Yeah, I mean, going heavy D, man. It feels like the right thing, but it almost never is, dude. Like, because now when you start, when you start letting off the gas a little bit, you're giving teams a chance to get back into the game.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it kind of opens a proverbial hole in your defense, or it gives them a little bit more leverage in the middle where, you know, all your coordination is going to really kind of come together.
Yeah, and now, I mean, with only being down 1, and I mean, think about how big that return was now, right? Like, instead of being tied, we've got a 1 flag lead. So we should be tied right now, all things considered, if it wasn't for that hero save.
Yeah, but, you know, we can talk about that all we like, but Desparrow had words to say to that carrier. And, you know, sometimes it comes down. Sometimes that's all a match can come down to. Poto, ooh, he made the rocket jump happen, but he got hit midair.
Yeah, I mean, if my aunt had stone, she'd be my uncle, right? So,
Blue flag taken.
You know, when I say stone, you know what I'm referring to. I'm just not trying to get you taken off of Twitch.
I mean, you know, it just depends on who's filing the report, I suppose.
That's also true. 1 minute left. I would look for VBM to go all over here. They have to.
Dranzer had some amazing shots there, but it just wasn't enough. Too many players around him and not enough teammates to help clear the board. But they're looking at just over a minute left. VBM has to make something happen to force a 3rd round.
And I love what I'm seeing from FU. They learn, hey, we got too defensive. Let's not take our foot off the gas now. They're still going into VBM's base looking for touches.
Dranzer are not even stopping to return the flag. It's every second counts in terms of speed. Has to. I mean, they got to make it happen. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. We're in the red zone now.
Yeah, and at this point, you will see FU at last minute. It's, you know, last minute to last 30 seconds. It's okay to get a little defensive then, but it's dangerous, man. Like, no pressure.
Great footwork from Ninja Dog. This might. Ooh, we gotta pick this up.
Stop! Oh, stop! Oh, he
Oh,
got
it's
it! Oh my
returned in the
God!
last second. Oh my God, 30 seconds left. They can get 1 or 2 more runs in. But Stahl has the flag. They have to drop Stahl.
Stahl,
The flag's returned
Stahl-
by FU. It is over.
I mean, there's still some time.
I
And
don't.
Stahl got that.
But there's no
that
one there to
first
pick up the
shot
bat.
from across
Pick up the
bat.
flag.
Yeah, well, now it's over. They can't get back in time. That's 2.
Oof. That's, you talked about a heartbreaker. That was a heartbreaker.
Well, yeah. I mean, VBM should have won this round, right? Like, again, like, it doesn't matter. You get those returns. A win is a win. Oh, man, Langrenus is just upset.
Damn, that's a tough one to lose. I mean, and also, we speculate that they didn't have a warm-up time while I believe FU was practicing pretty heavily. So that's, damn, that is a tough one.
Do you think there's going to be drama in the chat after that?
Drama in the Discord? Doom? We've never heard
Yeah.
that before. But I mean, that's... So, again, we mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast with Frag Yourself and Very Bad Mothers, both of them walked away with a 2-round win in week 1. But this time, VBM was vanquished in 2 rounds, and that's a tough pill to swallow. But FU came, they fragged out. I mean, they just had really good cohesion. What's your takeaway from this? What are we looking forward to in week 3?
So I got to give Stahl a shout out because I didn't get a chance to explain because I spectated him the entire time through that last second save. So Stahl was coming from the entrance of his base, shot kind of just like it's like, all right, Langrenus is jumping into their window. Stahl's taking I'm just going to shoot this, hope I hit, maybe I get lucky, and Lang dies and drops the flag. That's exactly what happened. Stahl books it across the mid, gets it to their base. The other guy picks up the flag. Stahl kills him. That gets picked up again. Then Stahl kills the other guy and saves it right before the flag. I mean, you can't. It is luck. That's a lucky save, but that's clutch too. To be able to just pull that off, to just not miss that shot, make it across, make that jump, get two frags in a row, and pick them both up. What a fucking play by Stahl.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to give that quick shout out. Now. Week 3. What are we looking at for week 3 schedule? So we still have one more match to take place. Who won between NLG and TWT? I'm assuming NLG won.
That was NLG. They won in 2 rounds.
Okay, I was kind of anticipating that. But looking at, obviously we had FU win today in 2 rounds, which is shocking. I did not anticipate 2 rounds.
I'm not sure if I expected that much of it really wasn't a landslide. It was really a game of inches, in which case the inches from VBM's carrier to their flag. Phenomenal last second saves from Frag Yourself. But the next game will be tomorrow, Monday, January 23rd at 5 Eastern. Unfortunately, I will not be able to cast that, but for people who are willing to check out the Rampage Discord, link is in the chat there. This is only week 2 of 4 weeks of the Redemption Capture Flag League. Definitely check them out, and people will be able to kind of loop you in. There might be an alternate caster that may be able to catch that game between Dunnet Boys and Oil Rigger Boys.
I will not be home for that game to cast it.
Both of those teams lost in week 1 by 2 rounds, so they both have 0 points on the board. So one of them was definitely going to be adding points to their name, and they need it. It's week 2, and they have to start accumulating points if they want a playoff berth.
So just looking ahead to week 3, and we'll talk more about this on the radio on Tuesday. NLG and FU. NLG is, Caboose looks like he has that swagger back, and you've got NLG, which is just that high octane, fast paced, touch, pressure strategy against a frag house, or a powerhouse fragging team, I should say, like FU. It'll be an interesting one. Heavy weapon dudes is great map, diverse map.
Very a map that requires a lot of finesse. But
yeah.
That's week 3. We got one more match in week 2. That will kind of shape things up a little bit more, and we look forward to Redemption Radio on Tuesday, hosted by Human Bones. And we'll probably feature some community members. I believe this last one, what we had, Stall, yourself, and Denizoa. So that may be the same gamut of talking heads, as it were. But we maybe see some new people show up. I would like to hear from some members of the winning team, which, Stall and Denizoa may show back up. But I want to hear more from teams who did not win this week. I want to hear about what they are going to do moving on to week 3 and 4. But that is then, and this is now. Thank you, everybody at home, for tuning in to this broadcast. Thank you to HateDaddy, as always, for making time in your Sunday to co-cast with me. And thank you to everybody at home for sharing some of your lovely weekend. Stay tuned for more. Join the Discord, and you'll be pinged when there are more games to happen. Thank you. Hate, any parting words?
Just a great match. I mean, the first round was kind of one-sided. You wonder if Transer not being warmed up had anything to do with that. The second round was definitely a round I think VBM is going to look back on with some regret. They probably should have won that round. I think VBM still can obviously take away from this game that, if I'm looking at it from their standpoint, like, hey, you really get a chance to warm up. Round 2, you guys got lucky. And if we see you again, maybe things will be a little bit different. So it's important to keep in mind that these aren't the playoffs. This is just the regular season. So it's entirely possible that these two teams see each other again. Wouldn't even be surprised if you saw these two teams see each other in the finals. So, if you're VBM, you lost, you got to figure out why some things didn't work out. How come you're not able to, clean up flags right before the carrier arrives at their own flag? It's something that, a conversation they'll need to have. And then obviously, hey, what was the issue this week? I mean, maybe Dranzer got off work late or something like that. That's another thing to consider too. If you can't arrive on game time on time, we're getting time to warm up and everything, then maybe we need to talk about whether or not you need to be on this team. That's another conversation. A little drastic, but
Well, I mean, you never know. That just shows how much nuance goes into these games. I mean, Doom 2 is an old game, but these players play it they play it very well. And there's a lot that goes into a 3v3 matchup. But stay tuned for more action in the weeks to come. Be sure to tune into Redemption Radio. And, well, thank you guys for showing up. This is just a pleasure. This is Xenaero and HateDaddy signing out. Have a good one, everybody.